Hello, this is a quick tutorial video for how to work through cue number 13 here on QLab assignment 2A. And this video will also help you out solving some of these other cues, which I'm not going to make videos for. So let's work on cue 13. It's a noise. We want to find our noise file and we want to drop it into QLab. And I've started with a fresh QLab session here just because I didn't want to mess the overall one that I had going. But I'm going to find the noise cue. Here it is. Of course, I'm in my QLab 2 media folder. And I'm going to drop it in. And I'm going to press go just to make sure I can hear it. And that lets me know, I'm going to stop it here, that I've got the audio output routed already by default. The audio output on this guy is a little bit different because I'm at home right now, so ignore that, but I've got it working. Going back to my cue sheet, let's see what I got to do on this. I got to loop it, and I got to create a fade cue to fade it out immediately at 02:02:56:12. First, we got to start it in the right spot, which is 02:02:16:11. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go to my time code trigger and I'm going to engage it and I'm going to paste this in here and I got to remember to hit return or it won't store it. And that will let me, now if I go to Pro Tools, I just want to test to make sure that this noise comes in at the right time. And I'm at 02:02:05 right now, so I'm a little bit farther than I want to be from this. Let's zoom in slightly and locate myself. Where am I? Right there. So about right there. This will give me enough ramp here. So this is a noise that goes underneath the entire battle scene. It's kind of like a rumble. So let's watch and see how it comes in.
They're locking phasers.
Raise shields.
Fire!
And now you hear the noise, right? Maybe not. Let me mute Pro Tools for a moment. That's the noise. And this runs... I'm wondering why it stopped. Oh, because I didn't loop it yet. Of course, that's why it stopped. Good dramatic moment in the video. But I want it to last actually till all the way to hour 2, minute 2, 56 seconds. So we want to loop it quite a ways. And so that's why it stopped. And I'm going to stop playback here in Pro Tools, leave it where it is. And obviously we need to loop it so it lasts a lot longer. So of course I'm still in the queue and I'm going to hit time and loops. And I'm just going to turn on infinite loop. And I'm not going to really worry about any crossfades here at the end. In fact, I've already kind of made the file work for you. So now it's going to infinitely loop and certainly going to go at least to 02:02:56 when I want it to get out. And where I want it to get out, let's see if we can actually find that over here in Pro Tools land. We want it out. Here's 48. We want it out probably by this scene 14 marker here. And it's not going to play it right now, but it cuts back to Sulu talking on the bridge of the Enterprise. So this whole window here, we want to have that noise. So now it will loop ad nauseum. Let's double check that if I press play here. And it should trigger here at 16. And we're not going to hear Pro Tools in the background because I've soloed a muted track. And you'll notice here that the loop, of course, is going to loop for us. And it's a little nasty, but it's underneath the battle, that loop there. So it doesn't really matter if it's got that little jumping sound because there's a battle going on. So we need to get this all the way to 02:02:56. So I'm going to stop playback in Pro Tools. We've got our loop going. It's going to continue going right now forever because it's QLab, so I hit the stop button. And we need to get it faded out by 02:02:56. So there is no way to program a fade out into a cue. You probably already know that. You need to use a fade cue to do it. I'm going to open up, there's lots of ways to do this, but I'm going to do it the way I've learned how to do it. I'm going to open up on my left the toolbox and I'm going to pull a fade cue down and I'm going to put it right below the noise cue and I'm going to grab my noise and then stick it on that fade cue. And that fade cue is now attached to the noise and it still has a red X which indicates something wrong, and it's because I actually haven't programmed the audio change yet. To do that, I go to my audio levels tab for the inspector and I say I want to go infinite. And now it's happy because it knows that it needs to go all the way to infinite at the appropriate time. Now we need to tell it when to do this. And since we're doing everything with timecode, of course we could do this manually by hitting the go button, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to go over to triggers and do the same thing, timecode trigger. And I'm going to paste in this time I probably copied a moment ago. Yep, nope, I didn't copy that yet. This is when we want the fade to start, 02:02:56:12. So I'm going to put that in there and hit enter. So now it's going to fade, and we have to listen to the whole 30 seconds for that to happen. But I did give you one other little note here. It said I want you to fade it immediately, so probably pretty quickly. So there is one other part to this, which is the curve shape dictates how long you want that curve to be. And right now it's 3 seconds. That might be a little long. What if we cut that in half? You know, like one. If these are, I don't know if these are frames or if they are percentages of seconds. It's hard to know. It's probably frames. So, yeah, whatever. That'll be fine. So now, and before we wait the 30 seconds to watch and see if that actually works, we do have one other step we have to do. It will continue playing that cue forever, even though it's turned down, because I have it looping infinitely. We also need to put a stop cue in. And by the way, I have these instructions down here written on how to do this, but this is kind of following that. So let's make a stop cue. So find a stop cue and drag that down and tell my noise to be, I don't know what the proper language is in QLab land, but I'm basically assigning the stop to the noise. And then let's tell when this cue happens for it to stop playback of the noise. And so our fade, of course, is at 0256. So if we stop it at 0256, if we stop it at 58, right? Wouldn't that be a perfectly good time to stop it? So we'll trigger it and we'll go, okay, time code trigger, please stop it there. I'm going to change it now to 58, so it's 2 seconds later. So it'll play for another 2 seconds. Now, unfortunately, folks, we're going to watch this happen and hopefully see if I did the right thing. I'm a couple seconds before it starts, so let's watch it. So we're hoping it starts at 16. Oh, came in. You could put a sweet crossfade in if you wanted. You could program a fade in. I don't think it really matters in the middle of a battle scene. And we're going all the way to 56, so we've got about 30 more seconds to watch this loop away, and hopefully it will fade in. I'm going to take Pro Tools out of solo so you can hear some of the noise in the background. Of course, it's not mixed whatsoever. It's just kind of crazy. The screaming makes me a little uncomfortable. And in about 6 seconds, we're hoping it kind of fades out right kind of across into the next scene. An abrupt shot.
I can't get power, sir.
That works perfect. And of course, it has stopped as well. So here's the good news. This worked exactly as planned. And that kind of is, this video is a good demonstration of how to use fade cues to fade out of something and then stop something. Cool? Excellent.